fire. This could be the match of the night. I highly expect that it might be the match of the night. There's one other match on this card which I think is going to probably end up being better than it. But Omega and Takeshita have history together, going back to DDT, going back to, I think, even sometime in Japan. But expect Don Callis to be involved. I don't know if Will Ospreay is going to get involved, but expect. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, September 9th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host on that road to victory, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, 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 one and all. And I won't be I won't be long before you today, because we got a good show. But as always, you know, you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, the 215 spelled out on Twitter, and of course Coffee and Patreon. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube, because I am so close to getting monetized. I can feel it in my bones. It is time to up the ante and bring you all what you want, what you need, and what you desire. But today's show, Victory Road 2023 happened last night, because we are in the month of Impact. They've got their 1000th episode coming up, and a lot of people counted them out. And we've got a bunch of things going down for you this month pertaining to Impact. So we have for the next 3 weeks, every day on Instagram and on YouTube, check out the top 5 tag teams, the top 5 women, and the top 5 men in Impact. We've got a couple lists for you as well. This is going to be fun. But for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. All right, so Impact Wrestling, Victory Road 2023, and you know what's coming next, the list. So we got the 5 best matches from Victory Road from last night. Number 5, the X Division Championship, Kushida versus the champion, Lio Rush. This was a really, really solid match. It's really hard for Kushida to have a bad match with somebody. It just is. And Lio Rush is no slouch either. He is very good at what he does, and these two put on a very, very solid affair. Number 4, the Anything Goes match between Bully Ray and PCO. These two dudes have been essentially beating on each other for the better part of, I don't know, quarter of a year now, and that's when you think it's over. They find a way to revitalize the feud, and now it's Bully Ray trying to save the man from the monster that is PCO. These two dudes, sometimes you just want to see people beat up on each other. That's what they did. Number 3, the Impact Tag Team Championships, as the Rascals defended against the Motor City Machine Guns, and this match really stemmed from the Motor City Machine Guns respecting ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, but not the Rascals. As you know, the Motor City Machine Guns are one of the greatest tag teams in Impact history, and they don't like what the Rascals are bringing to the table. So we get this match, and all 4 dudes are really, really good. Alex Shelley's the current Impact World Champion, so the championship was not defended on the pay-per-view, but that's okay. These two dudes did their job in helping the Rascals look like a great team, but also a smart team. Number 2, Jordynne Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo. This was Jordynne Grace's return match to Impact. She took some time off, focused on her bodybuilding career, and this match was essentially to reestablish Jordynne Grace that, that girl. And her biggest rival, one of her biggest rival, if not her biggest rival, is Deonna Purrazzo. Now remember, Jordynne Grace can't challenge for the Knockout Championship if Deonna Purrazzo is ever champion. So these two have really good chemistry together, and the win was good for Grace to get. The power versus submission stuff was really awesome because Deonna Purrazzo is awesome, but so is Jordynne Grace. And number 1, Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. This match here was essentially established that, 1, the walking weapon Josh Alexander is back. 2, he's got to go on and defeat the man that he has never beaten, the man that took the championship from him due to injury. And that's what we got. We've got to see Josh Alexander work out that ring rust, return to form, and we got to see Steve Macklin show why he deserved to be the world champion. Those are the top 5 matches from Victory Road, and we shall be right back. If you haven't heard, if you've been living under a rock, Jordynne Grace, Little Mama Pump, I think that's what she was called. She's back in Impact, and she's back to establish herself as one of the top women, not only in Impact Wrestling, but top women in wrestling in general. She is different. We rarely have any horses when it comes to women's wrestling. You know what I mean? And to display that strength while also putting on beautiful athleticism is a rare combination. And Jordynne Grace took some time off. Yes, she looks a little bit different now. She's a little bit more muscular, but fuck that, man. Jordynne Grace is a badass X Division, Full Metal Mayhem, and now she's back in the company that she really helped establish in the new generation and help carry. And it was great to have Jordynne Grace back. She already went through one rival in Deonna Purrazzo. Let's see if she can make her way back up to the Knockouts Championship. Victory Road 2023 was last night. Victory Road is one of Impact's key events, and like when I think Victory Road, I also think of Bound for Glory. I think of Final Resolution. It's just a part of the company's DNA. It's one of their top pay-per-views, and it happened last night. So we are going to take a look at the show, see just exactly what went down, and we'll get ready for 1,000 episodes of Impact Wrestling. But before we even look at this year's card, we got to take a quick look at last year's card, what went down at Victory Road 2022, which took place in Nashville, Tennessee at Skyway Studios. So here's what went down on the pre-show. Taya Valkyrie, along with Jessica Havoc and Rosemary, they were with her. They weren't part of the match. She defeated Alicia Edwards. Bullet Club, the team of Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Juice Robinson defeated Jack Price, Jason Hotch, and Shogun. And the last match from the pre-show, Tasha Steelz with Savannah Evans defeated Killer Kelly by DQ. So it was a solid pre-show, and I like, again, that Impact and AEW put on matches on their pre-show. From the main card, Mike Bailey defended the X Division Championship, defeating and retaining against Delirious. The Motor City Machine Guns defeated Honor No More, the team of PCO and Vincent. Remember when PCO was a heel? Mickie James defeated Gisele Shaw by pinfall. If Mickie had lost, she would have to retire from in-ring competition. We had an intergender triple threat revolver match to determine the number one contender for the X Division Championship, and this match involved Frankie Kazarian, who defeated Alex Zane, Black Taurus, Kenny King, Laredo Kid, Mia Yim, Trey Miguel, and Yu Yamura. We had a 6-man tag match with the team of Honor No More, Eddie Edwards, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett, accompanied by Marie Kanellis defeating Keith, Josh Alexander, and Rich Swann. Jordynne Grace defeated Max the Impaler, who was accompanied by Father James Mitchell. This was a pick your poison match, and Masha Slamovich was allowed to pick Jordynne Grace's opponent. He chose Max the Impaler. And in the main event, we had a three-way barbed wire massacre with Steve Macklin defeating Moose and Sami Callihan by pinfall. It's a good card, man. Impact just knows what they're doing. So we move on to the 2023 show, which took place last night at the Westchester County Center in White Plains, New York, which I know that place very, very well because I've played a couple buddy fight tournaments there. So it's a nice size arena, and it looked good. I'm a little upset. I could have went. I'm a little upset I didn't go and couldn't make it for the Impact taping tonight, but I digress. Let's go on to the main show of Victory Road. So on the pre-show, right, we had Island Angels who had an open challenge, and it was answered by none other than Guido Nunzio. I can't say his name. Nunzio, okay? Lil Guido, ECW, all right? And I remember he answered another challenge before. I want to say this was against Zack Ryder or Macadona, whatever name he was going by last year. The feed went out during this match, and the feed picks up 4.5 minutes into the match with Island Angels faking an injury. He used the cheap shots, angel wings, 1, 2, 3. I don't know what happened there. Next up, we had the ABC team of ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, taking on Moose and Brian Myers. And this was a fun match between two teams who really, really work well together. They know what they're doing. They know what they're capable of. And Ace Austin rolled up by Brian Myers, stealing one. I like how everybody in Impact are pretty much treated as equals. Because Moose and Brian Myers are on the pre-show, but just a year ago they were featured the main card, world champions, so on and so forth. So I like that everybody knows what they can really, really bring to the table. Our main card, we start off with the X Division Championship, Lio Rush defending against Kushida. And this was a really, really decent match. Kushida is someone who can wrestle with anybody. I think I've stated that before. There's no exception here. There's a nice back and forth, as Simon Miller likes to say, wrestling tennis between Kushida and Lio Rush. Some technical mastery from Kushida's part versus Rush's really, really superior athleticism, and it had some really, really awesome moments, including Kushida getting a hover lock and just everywhere he can. But in the end, Lio Rush snuck a low blow to put Kushida down and hit him with the final hour. So it was a really, really fun affair. Next up, our next match on the card, we had... Actually, first, before we even get to that next match, we had a recap of Bully Ray hitting PCO with his car during the kickoff show. And then PCO is told that he can't compete, but he rises off the stretcher and he screams for Bully Ray. Lord. The Knockouts Tag Team titles were on the line as MK Ultra defended against Gisele Shaw and Savannah Evans. This was fine. This was a good, solid affair. Nothing crazy to write home about. MK Ultra, they aren't your traditional team, but man, they are really, really good at what they do, and that's all that needs to be said. Gisele Shaw didn't take the pinfall here, but she loses again, and those things are piling up. She has to get a W at some point. There's a little bit of miscommunication between her and Savannah, so we'll see where that leads to. But the champions retain, and we move on to the next match as Crazy Steve takes on Black Taurus, and this was all about finally establishing Crazy Steve after his interviews this past month and embracing his evil side and wanting to inflict pain and punishment. And he did exactly that, defeating Black Taurus. Wasn't a great match, but it was more about, again, the story more than anything else. And Crazy Steve is really putting in some really good work. His promos are looking well, and it's okay for Black Taurus to take the loss here. Next up, we had Career versus Championship, as Tommy Dreamer was taking on Kenny King for the Digital Media Championship. I thoroughly hate that name. Bring back the Legends Championship or something. Usually when we get a career versus something match, the person whose career is on the line wins. And guess what? Tommy Dreamer won. He is your new Digital Media Champion. Heath got involved to help Tommy Dreamer win. I don't expect Dreamer to hold this championship for much longer, but seeing him win a title in 2023 is a little odd. Maybe this is a way to transition the championship from Dreamer to Heath without Heath defeating Kenny King. But I need Kenny King to keep winning matches. Next up, we probably had the match that a lot of people are looking forward to the most: Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace, and Jordynne Grace's return match. And these two know each other so well. Grace uses her power. Deonna uses her technical ability. So there's no foregone conclusion on who was going to win this match, because both of these women have wrestled each other so much that they know each other so well, it can go either way. I really enjoyed this match. Jordynne Grace is unique, to say the least, and Deonna Purrazzo has proven herself time and again. But Jordynne Grace won with the Juggernaut driver, because she is a juggernaut. And Grace kept, sometimes, powering out of Deonna's submission maneuvers, and Grace got the win. I expect them to fight again. Yeah, we'll see what's next. It feels a little bit odd where Deonna Purrazzo is at right now. Like, she's not in the tag team picture. She's not in the women's championship picture. She's kind of just treading water for now. Next up, we had the Anything Goes match. PCO, Bully Ray. Man, what can I say? It's almost as close to as Big Meaty Men slapping Man Meat that you can get. PCO's not there in the beginning, and Bully Ray tries to run, but Santino stops him, and the PCO jumps from behind, and it's just balls to the wall action. We've got tables and chairs and cheese graters and people being choke slammed through tables, and PCO always kicking out. But PCO won, putting Bully Ray through another table. They must have won through 3 or 4 tables during this match. But the story of this match is that Bully Ray is scared of fighting PCO, and PCO won't die, and PCO getting back up after everything. The story of Bully Ray running over PCO with his car before the match just enhanced all of this. Next up, we got the Impact Tag Team Championships, as the Rascals will be defending against the Motor City Machine Guns. And you really believe going into this match the Rascals are at a disadvantage. Yes, the Rascals are good, but you're taking on one of, if not the greatest tag team in Impact Wrestling history, the Motor City Machine Guns, and one of the members currently is the Impact World Champion. But these two teams worked well together. It wasn't a shock. And this is kind of a go match with a little bit of rest. The ending I wasn't great with the Cradle Shock being broken up and the spray paint can being used. But the crux of this match was getting two awesome teams together to put on a show for everybody here. The Rascals getting a legitimate win by hook or crook, because a win is a win. If you're going to win, you better make it a win. Next up, the Knockouts Championship, as Trinity was defending against Alicia Edwards. Eddie Edwards accompanied his wife to the ring. Eddie was getting booed because he's from Boston, and we're in New York area. And this is solid. Nothing great. Trinity uses her speed, Alicia, she's a brawler. She's a fighter with a little bit of technique to him, so that's what she's going to get into. Trinity tries once again to make Alicia tap, but Eddie gets in a cheap shot, and he's going to put her through a table until Frankie Kazarian and Tracy Brooks show up, and Trinity's back up at the top rope splash on Eddie through the table, and the ref is down. Yeah, there was a ref bump. Alicia tries using the kendo stick, but Trinity kicks out. Trinity hits the bubble bomb, roll up, 1, 2, 3. The ref bump really didn't help this match. They should have just made this a weapons match, some form of a match with a stipulation. But Trinity won, still solidifying herself as champion, and I'm expecting a mixed tag team match with Eddie and Alicia taking on Trinity and Kazarian, because I don't believe Tracy wrestles anymore. And she doesn't need to. We got the good news that Don West and Mike Tenay will be inducted into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, and these two are the voices of Impact. They helped build Impact. They helped carry that show. Don West passed away, I believe, earlier this year due to cancer. So he's missed, and I know the speech that Mike Tenay is going to give is going to be awesome. And finally, our main event, and I like that this was the main event, Josh Alexander versus Steve Maclin, our two former world champions, just going at it and putting on a match. Josh Alexander had to get his win from Steve Maclin. He had to defeat Steve Maclin. And just like the return of Jordynne Grace, we have the return of Josh Alexander, who's been wrestling, but he really hasn't been able to get out there just yet. But here and now against Steve Maclin, yeah, he did just that. This was the longest match on the card, and these two put on a nice little clinic of professional wrestling. And I love what Impact does with people is that, oh, you were disregarded from your other company, come to us and we'll elevate you. And that's exactly what they did with Steve Maclin. Remember, this is one of the dudes from the Forgotten Sons, and now he's a former world champion. You know what I mean? And Josh Alexander going from the North to the walking weapon is amazing. These two put on a really, really solid match. This was probably one of my, if not my favorite match of the evening, because I've been made a believer in Steve Maclin, and Josh Alexander is just freakishly awesome. Josh Alexander won with the C4 spike. Will he be moving into the World Championship picture? I don't know, but we did see the interaction about a week or two ago between he and Alex Shelley, with Alex Shelley thinking Josh believes he's a transitional champion. So we'll see where that goes. But as for Victory Road, once again, Impact does it better, man. They put on a good show. They put on a solid show. They're consistently good, and I can't wait to really celebrate them all this month, for the rest of this month. I've been riding with Impact since they were on Fox Sports during the weekly pay-per-views. I was there for, you know, the great era of wrestling with Christian and Joe and Cass. I was there for the birth of the Knockouts becoming what they are, elevating women's wrestling. Don't know anybody tell you any differently. Women's wrestling really came into the forefront thanks to Impact, because of what Impact did with them. I was there for the lows with Hulk Hogan and Dixie Carter and Eric Bischoff and Victory Road 2011, and then we get the lows, and then we change, and then there was the Billy Corgan era. Impact has gone through a lot, and I'm here to celebrate them. So that's our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Come back next week, as we will be looking at the greatest matches in Impact's history. I think we're going to do 12. I think we might do 12 matches with 3 honorable mentions. We'll see, but that's our show. Don't forget to check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. The two Coffee15 on Twitter, spelled out Coffee. Patreon. Please like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. I'm so close to getting monetized, and I want to do it because of you all. And as always, Xylee, Bailey, Gigi Dolan, and Isla Dawn, holla at your boy. Peace.